Bearer, our political leader, welcome you in this beautiful room, his office. It's always a pleasure to be in conversation like this with you. And this will happen over and over and again. So we'd like to say thank you, and let's see, Councillor, these are your friends you are used to meeting.
Thank you, gentlemen, for coming once again. And it's unfortunate there's no female among you. I hope the next time you come a female. Listen, I just wanted to use this occasion to thank the United States government for providing 200, I believe it's initial observers to begin the process of observing our elections for the voter registration. And I think they will observe it up to the time that the election result, because I don't take credit for what the United States government did, but I know last year when I was fortunate to be a guest of the U.S. State Department, I was asked in a meeting, and this I've already said publicly, among 10 priorities of the Republic of Liberia, what do you want to file for the United States government to do for Liberia? I said to them, free, fair, and transparent elections. And the head of the group that I was meeting with at State Department, the two presidents I'm meeting with at State Department, said, they look at each other and said, this is exactly what we are thinking. I said, well, then that's an affirmation of what you are thinking. This is what Liberia needs most. Because if we have free, fair, and transparent election, we are able to elect a leader or a group of leaders, both in the legislature and the executive mansion, who are capable of governing our country to make us even less dependent on the international community. And where the international community assists us, there will be clear evidence on the ground that the money generously donated by the various governments are used for the intended purpose, you know, for improving the lives of our people. So I'm very happy that the United States government has announced that it is sending 200 observers before the beginning of the voter registration process. More than that, the Liberian People's Party was the first party to actually call on the international community in a press release for the international community to bring observers here, to even have counterpart elections commission, to support a counterpart elections commission, to have technical advisors, technical experts in the data room, you know, so that the results can be properly collated. So, and also call for stationary observers, not just roving observers, to be at every polling station, because this 2023 election is so important to Liberia. So so the purpose of talking to you this morning is to actually praise the United States government for answering the call of all Liberians. We want this election to be fully observed. Let them even look at the pay for play situation. We want to be looking at the issue of pay for play, because money, we already see money exchanging hands, and there are rumors of money being given for political endorsements, for collaboration, for different reasons. I don't think the Magnitsky Act should stop to the 5 persons who have been sanctioned. For free, fair, and transparent election, the United States government should keep punishing those who will undermine the integrity of the electoral process. That is why I call you this morning. And while I'm at it, I just want to clarify what I heard this morning on Cool FM, that the standard bearer of the Liberian People's Party, Councillor Tiawan Gongloe, has endorsed the CDC. Even in my dream, even in the embalming room, I will never, can never, you know, endorse the CDC. I have said that the CDC has taken Liberia to the intensive care unit. That's in a emergency room. How can I turn around? I think just by that being true, some people might just faint and fall, because there are a lot of people in this country who have enormous confidence in where I stand on national issues. And I'm not a flip-flopper. I have taken so much risks for Liberia of my life, for this day, for whatever reason. There can be no historical fact to support any thinking that I would turn around like that. And so let me make a clearer call again on the election issue, that I'm calling upon President George Weah to find the money to make sure that every aspect of the electoral process is fully financed. The number one priority for all Liberians this year is for us to have free, fair, and transparent election. Election is not a national disaster. It's not an accident. From the time President Weah took oath of office in 2018, it was clear to him that in October 2023, there will be legislative and presidential elections. So there is no excuse for the government not being financially ready for this. And I hope that what the Elections Commission said is not true. You know, it's so bad to be true, and it shouldn't be, because it undermines our peace and stability. It sends out fear. It has a chilling effect on all Liberians, because we know that fraudulent elections or holding no elections could lead us to chaos. So I'm not appealing, I'm demanding, and that's the proper word. I'm demanding that this government makes every aspect of the electoral process a priority. That's the number one priority for Liberia now. Thank you very much for listening to me.
Councillor Gongloe, my name is Tiawan Gongloe, and I report for KMTV. You said even in your grave or your dream, you cannot support the CDC. One may say politics interest. Why, if your interest is being catered to, will you still not join the CDC?
My interest has never been divorced from the interest of the Liberian people. At the age of 22, I was going to jail in this country. I've suffered. Even in 2002, as a senior lawyer already, I went to jail for standing on the side of the people. I am loyal to two C's, my conscience and my country. And I've never betrayed the two, and I will never betray the two. Liberia is more important to me than myself. And so my interest is the same as the interest of creating a better Liberia.
What's the better Liberia you want?
A better Liberia is a Liberia in which majority of the people will live a better, their lives will be secure, and their welfare will be sought, and many people will have the basic needs: health, education, good roads. What I'm emphasizing for Liberia to be a food sufficient country, in fact, to turn things around, so that Liberia, instead of being a rice importer, becomes a rice exporter. We have the potential of that. I have repeatedly said Liberia is not naturally poor. We Liberians chose Liberia to be poor because we elect people in the executive mansion and in the legislature who don't have what it takes to govern, and two, don't love our country. These are two negatives that can never produce anything good for our country.
Are there any possible chance of collaboration with maybe ruling an opposition?
I will collaborate with anyone. I might even draft from the race if the candidate, if you have political parties or candidates who agree with what I'm saying. I'm saying some hard things. That the president's salary and benefits should be open to the public. It should be on internet. I am calling for the president, the next president, to submit himself or herself to quarterly lifestyle audit to make sure that his or her expenditure is not higher than the income that he or she receives. I am calling for having a situation whereby the report of the lifestyle audit will be published for every Liberian to read in major newspapers. And I have a 10-point agenda that I'm not seeing any presidential candidate agree with. Mind you, it is not about job, it's about the interests of the Liberian people. We want a leader who will put Liberia and Liberians first, so that Liberia becomes like Singapore, what Lee Kuan Yew did to Singapore, what Sasarisi Kama did to Botswana. These are shining examples of how a country can elevate itself from poverty to prosperity, and in a way that every citizen in the country enjoys a minimum level of happiness. That's what we want.
Okay.
I want to be a project manager to change Liberia's story for the better. And I'm not just saying it, I've written what I want in a 10-point agenda approved by my political party, and that is what we're going.
So assuming that you are not contesting for the pending election, who do you think is the most qualified person?
That hypothetical doesn't work because I'm contesting.
Okay, and so for me, I'm concerned about information about you endorsing the CDC. Have you checked your inner circle to know as to whether people are not backstabbing you?
Nobody's backstabbing me. I strongly believe that all members of the LPP executive and members are fully on board for the transformation of Liberia by the implementation of the Better Liberia agenda. Look, I have silent supporters everywhere in the government, in the 3 branches of government in Liberia. And people should be ready for a shock. For those who don't know, Liberians want this country to be better. All of the countries in the Manabra region are far ahead of us. Very far. But they don't have the natural wealth that we have. Nothing compared. For example, the forest alone, there's billions of dollars. I have a forest expert on my team, Dr. Gibley. And he tells me we have over $1 billion to make from our natural forest. There are some trees in our forest that you can't find anywhere in the world. Just ecotourism alone could bring a lot of people from over the world. He also tells me, look at the sea coast from Cape Mount to Cape Palmas, sandy beaches. I was sitting with some Liberians yesterday in Nimba County. They were saying, but they have been to Bahamas, and Bahamas do not even have 2% of what Liberia has in terms of the sea coast. And it's, therefore the tourism potential that we have that has not been exploited because of bad governance. I'm not talking about the soil that we have, where you can grow rice 4 times, in fact, for a period of 4 years, and not use fertilizer, and still get the same yield. Then on our soil we have diamond, gold, iron ore. In Botswana, that is among the richest countries in Africa and among the fastest growing economies in the world. There's only diamond. And 70% of Botswana is desert land. Botswana has only 30% of its land for agricultural purposes. Out of the 30%, it is raising cows, goats, sheep, and exporting meat to Southern Africa. Out of good leadership. There's only one way for Liberia to change its story. That is by electing good leaders in the legislature, and especially in the executive mansion.
Some may say you got a good plan, you got a good agenda for the country, but looking at the political climate, the influence to influence the decision-making process could be a challenge. How strong politically you are when it comes to you shipping vote across the country, and what the formula are you using?
Election is not one day. The life of a politician itself is campaign. There's no candidate here, for example, who is called Wamu, bless us, in Maryland, who is called Puliyon in Grand Jude, Savior, who is called Tonier in Maryland, in Cape Town, stay with us. And the list goes on. I cut across the country. No one even if your country vote for you 100%, you can't be president of Liberia unless people, citizens of Liberia in other countries also like you and vote for you. And that is what I have. Because I've worked here. I've advocated for a lot of people. And everywhere I go there are testimonies. Just over the weekend, someone gave a testimony in your Yale. Say, I'm a member of the core family. Councillor Gongloe freed me when I was working for the Liberian Air Services and I was jailed, you know, and then he freed me. I really don't remember, but I believe he's saying the truth, because when you go to jail, you remember. But on the day he was, well, a day before he made his testimony, and a University of Liberia student from the Student Unification Party was in jail. I've not been to West Point Court for more than 10 years, but to free this University of Liberia student who had a problem with Solomon George, Honorable Solomon George, I went there and got him released, and the student was celebrating. So I just said to myself, okay, you say I freed him from jail more than 10 years ago. It may be true, because this is something that I don't want to do. Everywhere we go in the country, whether it's in Bonkande, Nimba, Lofa, just everywhere we've gone, I receive these surprising testimonies. You know, power is meant for the good, for the common good of the people. And that historically, I think I've shown my ability to use power for what is meant for the good of people, and not to abuse people in their rights.
So, Council, let's look at some of your activities. We're being told you've been around now in other countries, in making sure that you can be able to sell your plat to other citizens. I mean, what are the key messages are you taking? How has it been in terms of the reception of the people, especially some of those places which maybe you may not be used to, like the Western region, the places like in Lofa? I mean, some of those places, how are the people been receiving you, and how has it been in terms of your interaction?
I've been asking one question. Have you heard this message from any presidential contender in your life? They said no. In fact, you are the first that we are seeing. They don't even come here. They send people to us election time. Over maybe 90% of the places I've been to, I've been told that I've been the first historically as a presidential contender to go to the villages and towns. And then when I talk about the 10-point agenda and the key issues I talk about here, free education for all Liberian children, you know, universal education from kindergarten to 12th grade, with government providing everything. When I talk about pregnant women going to hospital free of charge, when I talk about people 65 years old of going to hospital and clinics, government hospital and clinics free of charge. When I say as president, I will visit government hospital and clinics for medical checkup to make sure that they are up to standard, because I strongly believe that if a clinic or a government clinic or hospital is not good for the president, then it's not good for any citizen at all. And if the president goes there, it means ministers and everyone else will go there. And gradually, in fact, in no time, the standard will be up. When I talk about mechanizing rice production, so that and getting the army to go to war against hunger by producing not less than 100 acres of rice in each of the 15 counties, and having rice producing machines distributed among the farmers in the 15 counties to produce rice, which will make Liberia a rice exporter rather than importer. People are happy when I say we'll put yellow machines in all of the counties so that the roads are constantly maintained, because road maintenance will promote our economy, you know, make our economy more vibrant, because goods, there'll be movement of goods and people, and it will help to enhance our medical situation, because if you have bad roads, ambulances are useless. You have to have good roads for ambulances to actually take patients to the hospital quickly. When I talk about combating corruption and give them the 12-count prescription for fighting corruption, I just don't say corruption is a public enemy #1 or I have zero tolerance, but I say how I will fight corruption. So when I say all of these things, and then I end and ask, have you heard these things from anybody before? They say, no, not even representative candidate, not even senatorial candidates. So the people are excited. And then they say, because I'm going around to give them reason why they should register to vote. They say, based on what you've said, we will register to vote. That is what I've heard in Cape Ma, in Bomi, in Nimba, in Lofa, in Riverside, in Bonkande, in Grand Bassa. That is what I've heard all over the place.
So, I mean, again, somebody will be concerned because the voting expectation in rural Liberia is quite different from urban Liberia, like in Monrovia and this environment. Somebody like in the western region or in some of those villages and towns, we always like to vote a candidate who they are used to, who they know, I mean, who they try interacting with in terms as compared to maybe you going there once in a while to interact with these people. Do you think?
Let me tell you, everywhere I've gone, they say we've heard a lot of good things about you. This is our first time seeing you. We are happy to see you. That's all I've been hearing. Oh, thank God I've seen you today. That's good. And then people testify. When people testify good things about good things I've done, other people feel covered by that and say, but then this is a good man. Because I did things when I was not planning to run for the presidency. Some people talk about way back in the 1990s, in the 1980s. So, you know, I think the library is ready for me.
So colleagues, we'd like to say thank you for coming this morning. We look forward to seeing you.